and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome today to a crazy Barça news roundup. And it really is, guys. If you want to go and get a drink, if you want to go and get something to eat right now, because the transfer window right now, it is chaotic, it is stressful, but we're going to be going through it all. We are going to be going through everything from today, which includes the massive news, the huge news on Raphinha, exactly how all of that is going to play out, and also the correlation that may have to Ousmane Dembélé's future, with he now entering his final 48 hours as a Barcelona player. What's going to happen with him? And we are also going to be addressing the big question of, is there any chance that Frenkie de Jong can stay? Is there any hope at all that he will not end up at Man United? It's all discussed. It is all addressed. So come on, and let's do it. Because if we do kick off with Raphinha, and this, guys, it is very big news right now in Barcelona, because it all began this morning because Deco there arrived in the city, the agent, of course, of Raphinha, and he had a very lengthy meeting. They were intense talks with the Barcelona board at the club's offices there. Right throughout today, they have been in discussions. Now, it is worth noting at this point that on Tuesday night, the news broke that Chelsea had fully agreed a deal to sign Raphinha. And when I say agreed a deal, I mean with Leeds. Chelsea there had agreed a fee of around 70 million euros, including add-ons there, to sign Raphinha this summer. Arsenal as well, of course, they've been heavily interested in him. They would be willing to up their offer and get very close to that Chelsea one. And it's quite clear that Leeds this summer, they are not short of interest in Raphinha. However, things then started moving in a different direction this afternoon now. We're in Barcelona. Gerard Romero, of course, somebody who's always there with the big news and the big headlines. He says that suddenly now things are starting to change. That suddenly Barca still believe they can sign Raphinha. Even with that Chelsea agreement, even with the interest from Arsenal, Barca are attempting to hijack their moves for Raphinha, and there's still a belief after that meeting with Deco that it can happen. Because apparently there, Raphinha is absolutely desperate above everything else to join Barca. It doesn't matter there about the interests from Chelsea. It doesn't matter there about the interests from Arsenal. He only wants to join Barca this summer. We've had a personal agreement with him now for several months. We've been waiting on this deal for a long time, hoping that it can happen. He still wants it to. He still intends to make that move. And Deco, of course, don't forget, close friend of Joan Laporta, former Barcelona player, the agent of Raphinha, he is also desperate to bring him to the camp now, because this for him could be the start of a really nice relationship between Deco and the club there. He's a new agent coming onto the scene. It's a big deal for him, and if he could bring Raphinha here, follow the will of the player too, it would be an extraordinary deal for everyone. However, the situation that we're in right now is that player and agent, Raphinha and Deco, they want one thing. They want to join Barca. They want to leave Leeds and ignore the other two offers. But of course, Leeds, they want the most money. I mean, of course they do. They are the club there with the power, and they will be guided by the offer who ultimately brings them the highest fee. And right now, that is undoubtedly Chelsea, with that 70 million offer. And I've got to stress here, guys, Barca won't pay that. We are not going to up our offer there suddenly to around 70 million. We can't, we won't, and we should not do that. So the question is then, well, how can this happen? How can Raphinha get that dream move? How can Barca actually make this deal happen? And there are a few things to consider. Because I would ask the question here of, okay, Raphinha wants to come. Does that mean now that he's willing to go as far there as saying, okay, I'm going to reject all those other offers? Because Chelsea, Arsenal, they've got to agree terms with Raphinha. Is he going to say it's Barca or nowhere? I am not going to join Chelsea. I am not going to join Arsenal. And if Leeds say, okay, fine then, but you'll stay here, will Raphinha still do that? Would he stay at Leeds instead of joining Arsenal or Chelsea for that big money? Because something else that you've got to bear in mind here is that Raphinha's contract situation is a very similar one to what we've been discussing recently about Jules Koundé. His contract also expires in 2024. So just as we've said with Koundé, Leeds here know this is their opportunity. If they're going to sell Raphinha for big money, it's got to happen this summer, because next summer he'll be entering the final year of his contract, so they know it's now or never. And I think the only way that potentially that fee could come down, potentially there that Leeds could accept less than what Chelsea are offering, less than what Arsenal are offering, is that if Raphinha says, I'm not going anywhere else, it's either Barça or I stay in one more year and then next summer I leave for even less. You take the money now. That's the only way that it can happen. If Raphinha really is that desperate, really is that determined to only join Barca, and that is what we're going to have to wait and see. However, guys, one other theory that I have had, and I have thought about this a lot since the story broke, I do wonder here whether all this new noise again about Raphinha, has this all just been brought up one more time here to put added pressure again on Ousmane Dembélé to sign the contract renewal that's on the table in the final 48 hours here that he has to decide. Because are we trying to say here to him, look, we've got other options, there are other players that we can bring in, we're not solely dependent on you, it's up to you. You either sign it or you don't, but we will not increase our offer, we will simply move on. Because right now, Moussa Sissoko still maintains that in order to keep Dembélé, to renew him at Barca, we've got to offer more money. That is his stance right now. Whereas Barca maintain that Dembélé is in no position to be making those demands right now in terms of the offers that he has on the table. Barca is the only one right now. And for that reason, we will simply not be increasing anything. And a lot of people are saying, well, what is the rush right now? Why exactly do things have to be decided by the 1st of July? You know, Dembélé is going to be out of contract. Surely there would be plenty of time then to renew him. But actually, that's very far from the truth. Because I've got to stress here, guys, that once Dembele's contract officially expires at the club, once he becomes that free agent on July the 1st, then it becomes a very different situation. Then it actually becomes much more complicated for him to stay. Because on the 1st of July, when Dembele there technically would be unattached, he would be a free agent without any club, it would actually be then not renewing a contract of an existing player, not just renewing original terms, but actually he would then be treated technically as a new signing. And that is why it would be much more complicated for the club to offer any big wages. Because as we know, with these La Liga restrictions in terms of new players coming in, registering them, offering them big wages, fitting them into our wage structure, it is so difficult and very different to renewing an existing deal. And it's all because of that, which is why these are key days. These are decisive and crucial days in the future of Dembele. And actually, I still think the club are in a fantastic position here. Because either way, Chelsea right now, the club who aside from Barca, they're the ones who are Dembele's pretty much only other option, well, they're going for Raphinha now. They're also going for Raheem Sterling. Now, if they end up getting Raphinha in the end, well, again, there's no room then for Dembele, is there? And if they don't get Raphinha, well, that could mean that he's heading to Barca anyway, and then they'd be free. They can go and sign Dembele if they want to. So I think the club right now have balanced this well. We are still holding the cards. Dembele is still under pressure with real uncertainty about where he's going to be on July the 1st. And only time will tell now what happens. However, though, guys, I would like to move it on here to talk about Frenkie de Jong and his situation and the potential sale, of course, to Manchester United this summer. Because a lot of people ask every single day, is there any chance that Frenkie could stay? Because a lot of us are thinking about that. A lot of us want that to happen. And as much as we have heard about the two clubs agreeing a fee, being close to being done, all of this we've heard many times. But is there still any way that maybe Frenkie himself could decide not to make the move, could actually reject Man United? Well, the simple answer to all of that is, well, definitely. That's exactly what he has the power to do. He can indeed do that if it's what he decides. Because until this deal is 100% signed, 100% confirmed and announced, there will still remain a chance that Frenkie himself says, actually, no, I'm not leaving. I don't want to go, and I will not go. Because the club can, agree a fee with United. United can sort of wrap up all the deal there, and it can all be arranged and going well. But the very final say, the very final detail of the deal it will be down to Frenkie de Jong. It will be about whether he agrees to the transfer. He is the one who can say yes. He is also the one who can say no. He has a contract at Barca, don't forget, until 2026, so he doesn't have to go anywhere. He doesn't have to agree to anything. Now look, the club can put pressure on him, of course they can. The club can look to maybe try and move him out and put internal pressure on him. And to be honest, when these original rumours came out there linking him with United, I kind of half believed that it was all one big ploy, that actually there, it was more of a scare tactic, that Barca were saying, look, we will sell you, we will put you on the market, we will offer you to Man United if you don't renegotiate your salary, if you don't there take a significant wage cut. I thought it was all going to be about those wages. Now, I think we've come a long way since then. I still feel as though we're quite a long way down the road now. I do feel as though these negotiations, they are really advanced, that it would be pretty extreme at this stage just to get De Jong to lower his salary. But for sure, guys, until it's announced, until it's done, you will still hear rumours, and there are lots of them that say De Jong still doesn't want to go. De Jong is still not convinced about Man United, and in all honesty, I could fully understand that. And again here, only in these coming days will we know if he is going to accept this move, because it is still not done yet. And so indeed, guys, that right there is the day of Barcelona news that we have just witnessed. And even over on MORETALKFCB, there's even more stuff going on. Potentially there, Clement Lenglet leaving the club this summer. There is lots to be discussing right now, lots to be looking into. And for sure, guys, there's going to be lots more videos coming up, lots more news in these very, very busy days. At the end of the month, it is all happening. So make sure you're staying tuned across both channels. I will be seeing you soon, and please let me know all your thoughts, of course, down below on what we've discussed today. Thank you indeed for watching, supporting, and for getting involved. I appreciate it, and I will be back. But until next time, guys, as always, Vishka, El Barça.